All the kids are coming down just to dig the swinging sound. You can hear the band from miles away, 'cause everybody's jumping at Jax. Here's a little well-known secret, sure as there's the sky above. Nothing could be any sweeter than dancing with the one you love. When life is like a sour note, here's a happy antidote. Come to where the party never ends, 'cause everybody's jumping at Jax.
Well, I don't know how they're going to follow that. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Campus JAX. I know why you're here, so we're going to get to it really quick. But I want to let you know that there is music here 6 nights a week, and Thursday nights is our special Steamers Jazz at JAX night. And so there's some great shows coming up that we'd love to see you at. 2 weeks from tonight will be Jamie Hugh and her album release. And then on the weekend after, or the week after that, is Alex Robinson, a great young new jazz singer, and she'll be here debuting songs from her upcoming album. And then on the 6th, I will be here with a great organ player from New York City who was the Downbeat Magazine poll winner for one of the top 3 organists in the world. And he'll be here from New York, and that's on the 5th of June. So anyways, a lot of great stuff is happening here. But I know why you're here tonight, and I think for Trey, you okay there, Matt?
Yeah.
You should drink after the gig.
I'm a professional musician, Tony. How dare you? I do all my drinking in the car.
Well, I don't know if for trademark purposes I can call this the happiest place on earth, but tonight it's going to be the swingingest place on earth. Please welcome the new Jet Set.
Tony Guerrero, everybody. Tony Guerrero. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Johnson. We are the new Jet Set. Welcome to JAX. How's everybody doing so far? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, by your enthusiastic applause, let me know how many people are hearing this show for the very first time tonight. Okay. Several people raised their hand. We're going to ask you to pay attention a little better moving forward. But I appreciate the rest of you who applauded. Welcome, you first-timers, and welcome back to all of our returning friends. because as advertised, we're going to swing our way through the Disney Songbook. You know, since we premiered this show, coming up, well, it's been a little over a year and a half here at JAX. We've traveled all over the Southland performing this show, and lots of people say to us, cool, Disney music, which genre will you be tackling next? And my answer is always the same. I have no idea, because for the time being, we are enjoying exploring this music for a couple of good reasons. One, it doesn't matter how old you are, where you came from. You grew up with this music and you have an emotional connection to it. I'm telling you, whether you believe it or not, before we leave tonight, you will remember that. Secondly, the Walt Disney Company, specifically the Walt Disney Studio, has always been an inspiring institution of innovation, a company of firsts, if you will. And this music speaks to it. Take, for instance, our opening flourish there. We played two songs. First, When You Wish Upon a Star. That song was the very first time Walt Disney received an Academy Award for Best Song in a Motion Picture. So that was a first. Then we coupled it with Be Our Guest from 1991's Beauty and the Beast. That was the first animated film in history to ever be nominated for an Academy Award in the Best Picture category. And 3 short years later, it became the first Disney animated feature to be adapted into a Broadway musical. So that's going to be a theme tonight, firsts. We'll tap into that a couple of times. But before we go into any further, we are obligated to inform you that tonight's presentation is not authorized, associated with, or otherwise endorsed by the Walt Disney Company. But we have programmed a fabulous evening of music nevertheless. So let's continue with a song that comes from another movie of firsts. It was the very first Disney and Pixar collaboration. It was also the first full-length animated film to be 100% computer-generated from 1995's Toy Story. This is Randy Newman's You Got a Friend in Me. Thank you for that generous round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are curious, the person responsible for all the original arrangements here this evening is at the piano. That's Chris Barron, everybody. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it right now, one of the most inspiring young jazz artists today. This is Miles Jensen at guitar. And on the bass, my brother in swing, he put the boss in the bossa profundo. I can't even say the word, bossa profundo. It would have been funny if I'd have said that. Anyway, he's the lowest, David Miller. That would have been hilarious. All right, these next two tunes are something a little different. They came from a movie that was hastily produced to recoup financial losses from Pinocchio and Fantasia. In order to do that, they had to employ several cost-cutting measures, including, for the first time since Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the artist used watercolor backgrounds, which ironically gave this movie its iconic storybook charm. At 64 minutes, it's the shortest of all Disney animated features, and yet it won the Best Original Score in a Motion Picture Academy Award for 1941. First from from Dumbo, this is Casey Jr. All aboard. All aboard. Watch it. In one of Dumbo's most tender scenes, Mr. Stork, voiced by Sterling Holloway, delivers a precious package to Mrs. Jumbo. Shortly thereafter, she finds herself in chains, having acted out against her trainers. But once reunited with Dumbo, we hear actress Betty Noyes sing a lullaby that speaks to the universal love for a mother and her child. So, on this Mother's Day Eve, please enjoy the pick for Best Song in a Motion Picture for 1941, Baby Mine. Thank you very much. Chris Barron, Miles Jensen, sharing both the melody and the jazz there. So we premiered 3 new arrangements the last time we were here in January, which is part of our promise to those who return, including this next song. I mentioned that it came to be, at least part of our repertoire, because we were invited to play a special event for Walt Disney Company up in Disneyland's storied Club 33. And that got a reaction way bigger than that one. So that's the only reason that I'm bringing it up now, because from time to time we do special events, and it just happened to be during their very popular Halloween time, and we discovered this, rediscovered this next tune that features the vocal talents of one of my favorite Disney personalities, Thurl Ravenscroft. Now, Thurl Ravenscroft may not be a household name. Those of you returning know exactly who I'm talking about, but anybody of a certain age would remember Thurl lending his voice to Kellogg's mascot, Tony the Tiger, right? Who said, "They're great." That was Thurl. And of course, he was the also the originally uncredited vocalist who sang "You're a Mean One," Mr. Grinch. That was Thurl, but it was really his work as a founding member of the Mellow Men. You can tell that's a very 1950s photo there. He's Thurl's the tall one on the right, where the Mellow Men contributed to many Disney soundtracks, including Alice in Wonderland, Dumbo, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, The Storybook. It was the Mellow Men who sang yo ho, a pirate's life for me. That's them. And of course, they immortalized the Mellow Men as the famous singing busts in the Haunted Mansion attraction. When you go in there, that's Thurl, the one that's busted laying on his side right there, singing lead bass on this very next song. Now, we don't have a bass vocalist, but we got a bad bass player, and we're going to feature David. Yeah, he is. We're going to feature David on this tune that's title comes from a William Shakespeare poem. It's actually a line from the poem. This is, "Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize." David Miller. David Miller. I told you he's the lowest. That was Grim Grinning Ghost in the Key of Evil. And speaking of evil, this next tune is a story about a Disney villainess who was so cruel and so evil. Her name was literally a mashup of those two words. I'm talking about Evil DeVille. Cruella DeVille, that's right. And here to sing it is a fabulous vocalist who's neither cruel nor evil. Please welcome to the stage our very dear friend, Ms. ADRYON De LEÓN.
Hello, Newport. Cruella DeVille, Cruella DeVille. She doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. To see her is to feel a sudden chill. Look out for Cruella DeVille. The curl of her lip, the ice in her stare. All innocent children had better beware. She is like a spider waiting for the kill. Cruella, Cruella DeVille. Now listen, at first you think Cruella is the devil. And when the time has worn away the shock, you come to realize you've seen those kind of eyes watching you from underneath the rock. This vampire bat, this inhuman beast, she ought to be locked up and never released. The world was such a wholesome place until Cruella, Cruella DeVille. Look out, here she Y'all hear that? I said, y'all hear that? I may be here, but my heart is in New Orleans, baby. Let's go, come on. In the South, there's a city way down on the river, where all the women are very pretty and all the men deliver. They got music, it's always playing, starting the daytime, go over the night. When you hear that music play, and hear what I'm saying, make you feel alright. Grab somebody, come on down. Grab your paintbrush, we're painting the town. There's some sweetness going round. Catch it down in New Orleans. I better catch it. Come on. They got magic, good and bad. Make you happy or make you real sad. Get everything you want and lose what you heard down here in New Orleans. Hey partner, don't be shy. Come on down, yeah, give us a try. We gonna do some living before we die. Catch it down in New Orleans. You better catch it. Come on, Chris Barron. Hey partner, don't be shy. Come on down, yeah, give us a try. We gonna do some living before we die. Catch it down in New Orleans. Stately homes and mansions of the sugar barons and the cotton kings. Rich people, poor people, all got dreams. Dreams do come true in New Orleans. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. Y'all, I love that song and I love that movie. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it was the first time I saw a Disney princess that kind of looked like me. And even more recently, Disney cast Halle Bailey as the precocious Princess Ariel in their live action remake of The Little Mermaid. Yes, which made kids who look a little like me feel like we were part of that world. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? When you think I'm the girl who has everything. Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here you think, sure, she's got everything. I got gadgets and gizmos of plenty. I got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing, walking along on those, what do you call them? Thank you. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Lakes are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down a, what's that word again? Street. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? I bet you on land they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters. Bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand. I'm ready to know what the people know, asking my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and what is it? What's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? When I love to explore that shore up above, out of the sea. Wish I could be part of that world. If I could live out of these waters, what would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? Bet you on land they understand that they don't reprimand the daughters. Bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand. Questions and get some answers. What's a fire and why does it burn? When's in my turn? When I love to explore that shore above, out of the sea. Wish I could be part of that world.
ADRYON De LEÓN. One more round of applause. She'll be back. She's our queen. When asked the address to his home, Peter Pan looked to the night sky and said, "Second star to the right, straight on till tomorrow." That, of course, it was actually second star to the right, straight on till morning. I needed to get the picture there to, let's do that again. When asked the address to his home, Peter Pan looked to the nighttime sky. No, you're going to like it. It's very dramatic. When asked the address to his home, Peter Pan looked to the night sky and said, "Second star to the right, straight on till morning." That, of course, was the magical land where kids never grow up. This is Chris Barron on Never Never Land. Chris Barron. Chris Barron. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Chris, it's always just a magical little spot in the show, and I want you to know that I appreciate you. Chris does all the arrangements for this particular show, and we were talking on the phone recently. We needed to catch up about some stuff, and we were talking to each other on the phone as each of us drove in our separate vehicles, eating fast food on our way to gigs in separate zip codes. So that's the glamorous showbiz life we live. And I was sharing my frustration that every now and then he just comes back with another marvelous arrangement, and in order to add it to the show, I have to take something out of the show, and it's just, there's so much consternation. And I shared that I wish there was a way we could play all of his arrangements every night. And his suggestion to me was talk less. David says no. Because the stories are the best part, right? Yeah, the stories are the best part. There you go. All right. Well, how about a story, folks? They were so captivated by the story they forgot what we were playing. Listen, this is a fun story. Back in the 1980s, I played in a band at Disneyland called the Jazz Miners, and the Jazz Miners had a wonderful cast of players during that era, including bassist Eric Messerschmidt, who not only is here tonight. There, you got some fans, Eric. Eric was my bandmate back then, and he's actually played this show with us, and he's marvelous, and I love you, and I'm so glad you're here tonight with your beautiful bride. What's her name? Anyway. Oh, Diane, you know that I know who you are. All right, listen. So we had an arranger, we had the world's most prolific arranger for big band literature, Tom Kubis, who was here in January, and I got to say this story in front of him. One of his favorite things, we were a Dixieland band, the Jazz Miners, and one of his favorite things to do was take a current pop hit and sort of arrange it in Dixieland style. So we're playing this happy Dixieland beat, strolling through Disneyland's New Orleans Square, but really what we were playing was Beat It by Michael Jackson, or Every Breath You Take by Sting, or this next song right here. See, he took this iconic bass line from Benny Golson's Killer Joe, and we mashed it up with Hi Ho from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and we call it Killer Ho. And it's a sing-along, so pay attention. Not bad. One more time. Yeah. Nice singing, everybody. And Burning Guitar by Miles Jensen. Miles Jensen. Tearing it up. Hey, okay, here comes another story, Chris. This song comes from two books inspired by Lewis Carroll. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and its sequel, Through the Looking Glass. Now, in this particular arrangement, Chris, in his inimitable way, gives the illusion of tripping down a rabbit hole by employing a particular musical device called metric modulation, which gives the illusion of multiple time signatures in one time signature, in this case 3/4. Stay with me. After Chris and Miles engage in a friendly, competitive, improvisational back and forth, Chris let me know that we will then metaphorically climb back out of the rabbit hole in a sequence of rising minor thirds. So I said, play something from Alice in Wonderland, and that's what he came back with. So this is quite a challenging jazz arrangement. At the end of the day, we're jazz musicians, and we love putting our jazz spin on this music. So this is a song from a movie of the same name, released in 1951. This is Alice in Wonderland. This goes out to you, Jimmy. Chris Barron arrangement. Super job. Loved it. What was that? It was a great job. It was a great job. You're getting better. A couple more lessons and it's gonna be super convincing. Shot entirely at the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank by using full-size painted backdrops of London street scenes. Mary Poppins was another Disney film of firsts. Released in the summer of 1964, it quickly earned the title of highest grossing film in the US for that year. It was also the feature film debut of a 27-year-old Julie Andrews. Sadly, it was the only you can applaud for Julie. She's fabulous. I happen to know firsthand she is a fabulous human being. Sadly, however, this was the only film that garnered a Best Film Academy Award nomination. Best Film, right? Yeah, Academy Award nomination during Walt Disney's lifetime. He considered this his crowning achievement, and that most likely had something to do with it. It received a total of 13 Academy Award nominations, which happens to be a record to this day for any film produced by Walt Disney Studios. And of the 13 nominations, it won 5, including Best Actress for Andrews and Best Song. Now, when I talked to Chris about doing something for Mary Poppins, I immediately thought of the scene. It happens to be the song Jolly Holiday, where Dick Van Dyke dances, and the scene showcases Disney's spectacular live action and animation visual effects, which were also recognized by the Academy. But Chris had a different idea altogether. He wanted a song he could really dig his teeth into, and he succeeded. But when we played the song with the video, it kind of worked. So enjoy Dick Van Dyke's dancing along with his 4 backup penguin dancers while we perform our reimagined winner for Best Song in a Motion Picture for 1964. This is Chim Chim Cheree. Chim Chimmery. Chim Chim Chiree. This song comes from a movie adapted from a book written in 1894 by Rudyard Kipling. Phil Harris shows up to voice the lovable Baloo, and jazz musician par excellence Louis Prima appears as old King Louis, who's in search of man's red fire. So please help me welcome back to the stage a woman who knows how to bring the fire, Ms. ADRYON De LEÓN.
The jungle VIP. I reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. I wanna be a man cub, stroll right into town and be just like those other men. I'm tired of monkeying around. Oh, shoo-be-doo, I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too. You see, it's true. Try to kid me, man cub. I made a deal with you. What I desire is man's red fire to make my dreams come true. Give me the secret, man cub. Come on, clue me what to do. Give me the power of man's red flower so I can be like you. Oh, shoo-be-doo, I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too. So it's true, oh, an ape like me can learn to be human too. Here's hoping. Everybody, I don't know if you heard me the first time. Listen, I'm the king of the swingers, the jungle VIP. I reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. I want to be a man girl, and I stroll right into town and be just like those other men. I'm tired of walking around. Oh, shoo-be-doo, I wanna be like you. Well, I wanna walk like you, talk like you too. But it's true. Well, an ape, she can be just like you and me too. Can learn to walk and talk just like you. And maybe one of these days I'll wear one of them fine suits too. Thank you so much. Earlier this evening, you heard the gentleman behind me play You Got a Friend in Me, right? Yes. Yeah. I always get that, yeah. That's okay. from Toy Story, which was which was nominated for an Academy Award. But this next song actually took home the Oscar that year. From 1995, this is Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wondered what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. To each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Thank you. This next song we had the honor of debuting on Dia de los Muertos, which is the celebration of ancestors, loved ones, friends, family who have passed on. And we ask that right now, maybe you take a moment to reflect on someone maybe you've loved and lost. This is Remember Me from 2017's Coco. Remember me, though we have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry. For even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I am with you the only way that I can be. Until you're in my arms again. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I am with you the only way that I can be. Until you're in my arms again. Remember me.
ADRYON De LEÓN. Yeah, baby. ADRYON De LEÓN. ADRYON, thank you very, very much. Boom. Well, I can tell by the digital clock in the ceiling right here that it's time for us to wrap things up, but I don't want to go another moment without recognizing the amazing management and staff here at Campus JAX who have not only, give it up, who've not only invested so much in this establishment to support music 6 nights a week, jazz mostly on Thursdays and Sundays, but they also have everything from rock to country to soul to every kind of retro genre, including a Tuesday night singer-songwriter workshop. So they're really supporting, promoting upcoming artists as well as the restaurant side of this establishment. If you don't already know, has a program called Feed the Need, and they have been doing tremendous humanitarian outreach in this neighborhood for years and years and years. And we became aware of it during COVID, and then during the fires, they were sending meals up to the firefighters on the front line. Anyway, that's what they do here, and we appreciate you coming out and supporting them. If at any point this evening you were thinking, wow, you know who would love this program, this person or that person, you'll have a chance to bring them back on October 9th. We'll be back here and in the fall, and we will have, anyway, tickets are on sale currently. You could pull out your smart device and order tickets right now. We'll wait. Thursday, October 9th. And so we're going to wrap things up with a song that is not an original Disney song, although it represents one of Disney's most or newest villains. And one thing Disney knows is they're villains. But in order to acquire this villain, they had to pony up $4 billion in change to buy Lucasfilms. This was composed by John Williams for 1980s The Empire Strikes Back. And this melody happens to be the most reoccurring leitmotif in all of the Star Wars repertoire. This is the Imperial March, also known as Darth Vader's theme. Dig this. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Gone. Here we go. 1, 2, 2. The new Jet Set. Vamp, samba, a dream is a wish. 1, 2, 3. Miles Jensen, David Miller. Let's bring ADRYON back up here, shall we? Our queen, ADRYON.
Matt Johnson, everybody. A dream is a wish your heart makes. Y'all can sing. When you're fast asleep, you gotta swing though. In dreams you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you gain. Have faith in your dreams, and someday that rainbow will come smiling through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, that dream that you wish will come true. Right, fellas? A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. In dreams you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you gain. Have faith in your dreams, and someday that rainbow will come smiling through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, that dream that you wish will come
ADRYON. Hey, Mike at the soundboard, super job. John on the simulcast. About a round of applause for Tony Guerrero on the handheld over there. Tony!
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Johnson and the new JETSET, David Miller, Miles Jensen, Chris Barron, ADRYON De LEÓN. You would be, it's not just hyperbole to say you would be hard-pressed to find a better night of music than that. Except maybe on June 5th when I'm back here with a little ensemble. Thank you again for supporting live music here at Campus JAX. We will see you on June 5th. Good night, everybody.